Hello everyone, I am Vibha Chauhan and welcome to Chauhan Classes Funda Clear. So today I will explain Class 8 Civics Chapter 2. Chapter is Understanding Secularism. So in this chapter we will discuss about secularism, what is secularism, what is Indian secularism. We will discuss all these things. So first of all, suppose you are going to a foreign country and there you don't belong to the same community religion which they practice, which the foreign country people practice, and you have been discriminated by those people because you are not belonging to the same religion community. So you are being discriminated by those people, by those foreigners. So you would be angry. That is obviously you would be angry, definitely you would be angry. And there can be two expressions. First is retaliation. That is, you would think that when they comes to your country, then you would also discriminate them. That is tit for tat behavior. You would also discriminate them where you would be in majority. And second is, you would raise your voice for justice, to that there would be not any discrimination among religions. There would be justice, there would be equality, and that refers to secularism. Secularism means that there is no discrimination between religions, among religions. So this is secularism, and history tells us many examples of discrimination, persecution, execution on the ground of religions. On the basis of religions, there are many discrimination. For example, the Jews were persecuted by the Hitler's Germany. You may have read about this, that Hitler has persecuted the Jews, and even now in Jews country Israel also discriminate the minorities, those Muslims and Christians who are in minorities. Jews also discriminate them. And in Saudi Arabia there is no allowance for temples and churches to be built. That means their government has not denied to build temples or churches. So these are all the discrimination on the grounds of religions, you can say that. And these discrimination can be acted so easily if the recognition of power of state has been given to the majority, then definitely they would dominate the minority. That means if state has given all the official power to the majority, to those discriminating who are discriminating minority, then there would be many discrimination. This would be in long area, this would be in large scale. So this is all discrimination. So in this chapter we will discuss about this. In India, is there any this kind of discrimination? We will discuss about all these things. So what are we going to study in this chapter? What are the topics of this chapter? The topics of this chapter are: what is secularism? Why is it important to separate religion from the state? What is Indian secularism? So first topic is, what is secularism? Secularism, in the last chapter also we had seen that secularism and there would not be any discrimination. Secularism, as in the last chapter we had seen that there are many fundamental rights to save us, to protect citizens of India from the tyranny of majority, from the power of state. If they are discriminating us, if they are showing their power, if the state is showing power, and from the tyranny of the majority, there are many fundamental rights for us, for our religion, on the basis of religions. So for this, the government of India has separated the power of religion and the power of state, and this refers to the secularism. This refers to the secularism, means the power of religion and the power of government, power of state has been separated. So next topic is, why is it important to separate religion from the state? So as I have said that the power of religion has been separated from the power of state. So why do we need it? Why is it so? We will discuss. First is, if the country is trying to function democratically, that means if it is trying to function democratically, if there is democracy in that country, so for this it has to separate the power of religion from the power of state, because if the power of religion is given to the particular religion, if the power of state is given to a particular religion to the majority of that country, that means they would dominate the minority. There would be discrimination on the basis of religion. Suppose if in India all the power of country has been given to the Hinduism, because there is majority that Hinduism is in majority in India. So if all the power of state is given to that it means it can dominate the minority, that means which are Muslims, which are Sikhs, which are Christianity, then they would dominate them. So for this, the power of religion and the power of state has been separated to function democratically, because in a democracy there are equalities, as I've discussed in the last chapter. So for this, to protect that equality on the ground of religion, the power of those two systems, the power of religion and the power of state, has been separated. And second is to protect the individuals, because if an individual wants to exit from his religion and to interfere, to join the another religion and to interpret another religions in his behalf. So for this, if the power has been given to the majority, if the power has not been separated, for example, if you are a Hindu and you are disgusted by the practice of untouchability, so you would think about exiting this Hinduism and to join another religion. But think, if the power of religion, if the power of state has been given to those Hindus who don't want you to change into any other religion, then what would happen? Your freedom would be cut, your freedom would be violated by those, your fundamental rights would be abolished by those who has been given to the power of state. So for this, the power of religion and the power of state has been separated to function democratically and to protect our individuals to exit, to join any other, because they are allowed to exit from their religion and they can join any religions, because this is their own choice, this is their fundamental rights. So to function democratically, and in order to prevent violation or abolition of the fundamental rights, the power of state and the power of government has been separated. So next topic is, what is Indian secularism? So the Constitution of India shows that India is a secular country. So for being a secular country, what do we need? What are the objectives? There are mainly three objectives. First is that the religious group doesn't dominate the other religious groups or communities. Second is that some members of the religious group doesn't dominate the members of the same religion. That means in Hinduism there are upper caste and lower caste, so there is discrimination. So objective is also that there would not be any domination. And third is that the state doesn't enforce any particular religion and not take away their religious freedom, that is freedom of religion. State cannot take that religion freedom. And for this domination, the Indian government has made three strategies. The first is keeping a distance from all religions. That means Indian government keeps a distance from all religions, keeps an equal distance from all religions. You might have seen that in law, in courts, in police stations, in government schools, in offices which are government offices, there is no promotion of any particular religion, because government always keeps a distance from all religions. It cannot promote any particular religion. It cannot show any support to the particular religion, because that would be domination, that would be discrimination between religions. So for this, government always takes a distance from all religions. And second strategy is of non-interference. That means government cannot interfere in the problems, in the matters of religions. That means if a person wants to grow long beards, to grow mustaches, and if it is his personal religious beliefs, if it is personal religious practice, then government would not interfere and government would allow him to grow whatever he wants to do. For example, if a sick person wants to wear a pagadi, that is a central practice of Sikhs, then he can. And you know that for two-wheelers you are allowed, you are strictly given order by the government that you have to wear helmet. But for the Sikhs which wants to wear pagadi because it is his personal belief, it is personal religious beliefs, then he would not wear any helmet, because if he is wearing a pagadi, then how can he wear a helmet? So for this, the government has made a strategy that is called non-interference, strategy of non-interference. That means government would not interfere with religious matters. If a religious person wants to do something in the name of practice, then he can do. But if a person is trying to do anything in the name of practice of his religion, his or her religion, then government would also intervene in that matter. For example, third strategy of government is the strategy of intervention. These two strategies, the strategy of non-interference and strategy of non-intervention, are a kind of contradiction, because in the first, non-interference, government would not interfere in the religious matters, but in the intervention, the strategy of intervention, government would intervene into the religious. If a person is saying that in his religious, that is, he can sacrifice even a human, he can kill any human in the name of religion, then he cannot, government would intervene in that matter, because a person cannot do anything in the name of religion. That is wrong, that is crime, that would be inequality. For example, in Hinduism, there was a practice of untouchability between the upper caste and lower caste. Lower caste were seen, so-called lower caste were seen so lower and were not touched by the upper castes. So this was the inequality, this was the abolition of the fundamental rights of lower caste people. So for this, government intervened in that matter and vanished and over all the practices of untouchability. So you can see that government can also intervene into the religious matter if it is abolishing a fundamental right of any person. And in all matters, government intervenes not only for over any practice, not only for any practice, but for also support. If in a country there is a minority which is very minority, then government would also support it. That minority community, that minority religion will be also supported by the government. That means government grants them for making schools, for building schools, for building religious cultural schools to spread their religion, and they would give them support to make schools, to make offices, to make associations, because if they are in minority, then they need to be supported. So you can see that there are mainly three strategies. First is keeping distance from all religions, second is non-interference, and third is non-intervention. Third is intervention, strategy of intervention. So for this, you have to remember then that non-interference and strategy of intervention are a kind of contradict, but those two strategies make a sense of their own. And it is considered that Indian secularism is different from other countries. How is it so? Let us discuss. First, in US, there was a first amendment. In United States of America, there was first amendment for religions, that was that there was a strict separation of religion and the state. You can say that the Indian government also did so, but there is a kind of difference between them. US government said that the religious matters would not be seen by government. That means religion cannot seek the affairs of government, and government would not seek the affairs of religion. They would be separated completely. But in India, you can see that government can also intervene in the matters of religion if it is needed. So this is a different kind of difference. And in France, that is also a secular country, in schools they are not allowed, the students are not allowed to wear anything from their religion. That means in Muslims there is a headscarf, in Jewish there is a skull cap. So they are not allowed to wear anything from their religion. If for Christianity there would not be any crosses. But in India, according to non-interference strategy, you can say that people are allowed to wear anything, students are allowed to wear anything, because if there is practice of their religion, they are allowed to do this. So this is a difference from the secularism, between the secularism of India to all other countries' secularism, you can see. So this was all about the chapter. We have understood what is secularism, how Indian secularism is different from that of other countries. We have discussed all these things. So in this chapter I have discussed all topics, and in next video I will discuss next chapter. So thank you very much.